Kevin Eggers has been a member of our task force fighting against Agenda 21. He writes for the Napa Register?
It's a Valley Register.
Valley Register, and he writes in kind of an op-ed, a commentary column, and it's always about Agenda 21. So he's waking up his whole county of Napa and has been finding out so much about Agenda 21 as he does all of his research. So he's going to tell you how Agenda 21 ties in definitely with communism through this whole communitarian law aspect. Please welcome Kevin Eggers.
Yeah, you're all blurry out there, but I can't read if I have my glasses on. They say a picture tells 1,000 words. Can anybody see that picture I have in front there? Yeah, it's... Well, that's good for them, but...
Why don't you put it right here? I'll hold it, all right? I'll just hold it
okay,
right
that
here.
would be good.
Yeah, park it right here and we'll balance it up on the table, okay?
That makes me good for the first thing today.
All right, we got that out of the way. Okay. About 6 years ago, I first learned about Agenda 21 when I was doing some research on the immigration issue, and I knew that the immigration issue was something that was never going to be solved. That was all intentional. It's never intended to be solved, and I think most people here know that now. But I looked around on the internet, and I was searching for information about what's really going on in America, and I found information on Agenda 21 from Michael Shaw's website, Freedom Advocates. I saw stuff by Nancy Levant. I saw things by Joan Bion. I saw a whole bunch of information on it, but I was still looking for what's behind Agenda 21, what's guiding this thing. People don't wake up in the morning and say all of a sudden we're going to have all this major central planning and we're just going to adopt Agenda 21. It was in the works long before Agenda 21, the Communitarian Philosophy, which is what I focused on. I found work by Nikki Rapana, and she lives up in Alaska. I visited with her for 9 hours one day when I was up that way, and we discussed all of this, the Communitarian Philosophy. And it basically says that the rights of the individual are to be balanced with the rights of the community. It sounds pretty good until you figure out who's doing the balancing and what the rights of the community are. And you realize that it has nothing to do with individual rights. It's the total absence of individual rights. And that is the battle we're fighting in America today. Anyway, I started writing commentaries in the Napa Valley Register about communitarianism. How many people write commentaries on communitarianism? How many people have even heard the word communitarianism? Oh, okay, well, all right. More than I thought. Anyway, I started writing about the philosophy and how I was opposed to it. And I read the blogs on the Napa Valley Register site, and they were saying, Kevin, you hate the community. You don't like the community. Because I was writing about what government saw that our individual rights, we didn't have any, and I was opposing what government was doing in my own community. And so they were blurring the line between government and the people. They couldn't see the difference between what government was doing and what the rights of the people were. So anyway, I wrote some commentaries regarding it, and I finally decided that this is when I actually decided I'm going to go meet Nikki Rapana up in Alaska, and we discussed things. She understands the international laws that are coming in from the international community level all the way down to the local community level. And unfortunately, she said that she was going to have books for me. They're going to be here probably in a week now. Brand new books, all on this communitarianism, and also on the Hegelian dialectic behind it, the right versus left. I realized that this whole thing, the left, the right, liberal, conservative, all of this was a game that's being played on us. The leadership is playing us against each other. It's not that we don't have that we're not more conservative or we're not more liberal as citizens, but our leadership only has one ideology, and that's control. They don't believe in anything else. They just want control over us, from the global all the way down to the local. And I'm going to take this into the local level now. About a month and a half ago, I went to a sheriff's program that they had, where there were 4 deputies, and there was the sheriff himself, John Robertson. He was actually the undersheriff. He was going to become sheriff in 2 weeks. And within my Napa County General Plan is the definition of communitarianism, balancing the rights of the individual with the rights of the community and the needs of the environment. I asked him at that meeting to define what individual rights are and what community rights are and how they're balanced. The very first thing that he said was, "Kevin, you know that when you live in the community, you surrender some of your rights." That was what he said, the very first thing. He was familiar with that definition, and I was actually surprised that he was that blatant in saying it to me. And then he went on to describe what the community is. He said that the community is the people, and that the people within the community form the councils and the committees. They form the government within the community. Therefore, all of the laws and the regulations that come from the community, his duty is to enforce those. So what he was saying is that if you have individual rights, those laws and regulations that the community makes, you are subject to. And I know that sounds, that is the political philosophy we have in America. My response was, the way you're describing this, the community is government. Because you're telling me it's the councils and the committees and it's our local officials. We have the same corruption at the federal, the state, and the local level of government. We have the same backdoor deals. We have the same corruption. Why are my individual rights subject to government just because it chooses to call itself the community? And so we had a nice little talk. So anyway, he says, "Kevin, the only way that you can make a difference is if you join a council or a committee and you help create the laws and the regulations that we all live within in the community." I said, "There's no way in the world that I can join every council and every committee and protect my individual rights if that's your definition." He said, "Kevin, look around. This is America today." And that's what we're fighting. We're fighting this idea, this blurring of the rights of the individual and the community. They have blurred government and the people into the same thing within the community. And if you listen to Obama's speeches, when they call for mandatory volunteerism in your community, and they call for these things, they're trying to get people not only to selflessly serve the good in the community, but selflessly serve the corruption in the community. They want you to have blind loyalty to the community. And I know it sounds kind of crazy, but this is what I really, until you actually have a sheriff tell you this stuff, you're like, you don't believe it. You don't understand the ideology until then. And then you realize just how far it's gotten into our system. Not all sheriffs are like this. It just so happened that this county sheriff was basically put in the position of sheriff by our county supervisors to serve out the last 3 years of a term of a sheriff that had quit. So he was actually appointed sheriff. And who do you think he's going to serve? He's going to serve the supervisors and whatever policies that come our way. What kind of time do I have here? Are we done? Okay. Okay. All right. So anyway, the bottom line is that the communitarian philosophy is what is guiding most everything that we see in America today. In Nazi Germany, they used the community. They convinced many citizens to selflessly serve the community. They convinced many of the churches to get people to believe that selflessly serving the Nazi community was serving God. So when we talk about this community thing, we're not talking about just the atheists in America. We're talking about a lot of people that go to churches that have bought into this concept also. And you just have to remember, the community that you are serving is not the community of people. Instead of serving the community of, what do I want to say? You're basically serving not God as you believe you are. You're serving government in this community. The community doesn't serve God. The community is God. Okay, thank you.